Hi, everybody. It's Richard here with Conscious Marketer, and I'm joined by Kylie. Hi, Kylie.
Hey there.
And today we thought we'd talk about one of the marketing myths that hold people back. And this one is called the market saturation myth. And how this myth goes is somebody says, well, I'm not going to enter the market, or the market is way too oversaturated. There's no more buyers in the market, and that prevents them from creating whatever genius they have inside them, or creating the product or service that a lot of people need. And we've found this is really a myth, because markets continue to evolve. They continue to grow. There are always new types of customers coming in and out of the market at any one time.
Yeah, I mean, for me, because most of you are in the transformation space that are listening, some people are also selling products, and I still believe that it stands true for the products that are in this industry. There's no saturation ever, because what people are buying is you. They're not necessarily buying a product or service. They're buying, first of all, transformation. And yes, they are buying that transformation, but they're choosing you. And, my example from my own life is that how many copywriters do you think there are out there? I would say millions. And so I
Probably.
could, right? Millions, possibly hundreds of millions, because we're looking at the whole world here. Every country has copywriters, not just the United States or, things like that. And so I could get shy and say, there's so many talented writers out there, so I got to find something else to do. But I'll tell you what would happen if I tried to find something else to do, because there are definitely times where I think I need to not do this anymore. It's like when you go against the grain of what you're really here to do, things get really, they get miserable, they get stressed, they get out of alignment, things happen to kind of bump you back in. And so not only are you meant to be doing the work that you are doing, but there is no saturation because there's only one you. And that is one of the first things I learned about marketing when I first came online, was there's only one you. And because there's only one you, there is no competition. And because there's no competition, there's no saturation.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And, I think I bought into this a while back, even about digital marketing. And my thinking was, oh, there's so many different people teaching digital marketing. But then I realized that, the unique approach we have kind of developed within our own agency and with our own clients is quite different from what other people do. And then, like you said, there's only one me, and some people want to learn from me, and others don't, and that's okay. The other thing to consider is that there are always new people wanting to learn something new, and entering the market, and so they are looking for people, and so it's also you have to be somewhere where they can find you. So, as an example, about 6 months ago, I got a new dog, and I became a consumer of all things dog, So that meant like the Bark Box. I tried Bark Box. It meant I had to try different types of dog food. It meant that locally, I needed to find a dog trainer, and so we went through two dog trainers until we found one that we really liked. And so we had to find a personality that we liked, but I also went online, and I was like, okay, what are the best online dog courses, because it didn't have to be local. And I knew a great dog trainer named Susan Garrett, who's a world champion, and also a great internet marketer. And so I bought a couple programs from her too. So it wasn't like I just even bought from one person. A lot of people, if you're interested in, I don't know, let's just say you're interested in Facebook groups or something like that, it's not uncommon that you're going to buy the three main programs out there on that particular topic too. So that's interesting. So the people who buy from somebody else may also buy from you too.
Yeah, I love that. And I have an example. It might be a little non sequitur, but I got excited about it as you were talking. One of our recent podcast guests, Ryan, has a company called True Earth. Now, wouldn't you think that laundry detergent was a saturated market. And especially because people with products like that, people get brand loyal and it's very, very difficult to get them to switch. So, my parents use Crest toothpaste and I try to get them on this like what I thought was a healthier toothpaste, and they didn't want anything to do with it. They've been using Crest for as long as Crest has been a thing, and since they
I've
were
tried
kids,
to convert my parents to different products too.
right?
It doesn't work very well normally.
It's really hard. People get brand loyal and that's it. So you might think, oh, something like a household cleaning product or a laundry product is too oversaturated. And Ryan found an eco-friendly way to do laundry. It's a zero waste laundry company. His product is more expensive than regular laundry. Okay. So not only is he asking people to switch brands, and there are also eco-friendly brands out there. So it's not like all of them are chemically or whatever. And then he comes along with this new way of doing it and people switch, because that would be one story. There are plenty of eco-friendly brands out there, and his is more expensive than all of it. And he grew that company to either $1 million or multi-million dollars in 1 year. And it's a subscription model. So you get it mailed to your house every month, and you have it and you use it, and they are like locally famous now in Canada, and it is, growing all over the world. And if they had said to themselves, you know what, there's too many laundry companies out there and they got seventh generation and they got this and they got that, and you go to Whole Foods and there's 8 brands, or you go to the local health food store and they have all these brands, we can't compete with that. We can't do it. But no, they did it. They told a great story. They positioned themselves as, 3 guys that are on a mission. People loved that story. They loved the product. They started getting all these testimonials. People were like, we didn't think this little tiny strip would actually clean laundry. It did. And now they're a force. Like, they're going to be huge, and they're going to be in all the stores, I believe. And so they could have said, oh, oversaturation. And everybody who's ever been successful probably came to that place. Richard Branson started an airplane company. And don't you think that airplanes were a little oversat? Absolutely. But he put a new spin on it, and people like Richard, and they like the Virgin brand, and the Virgin brand is funny and it's fun. And please don't think while I'm saying that, like, oh, he's successful in everything, because he's not. He's had a lot of failed companies, but he kept trying. And if he had told himself this is oversaturated, that would have been a sad experience for everybody who loved that experience that you get in his brands, which is more fun and more reliable in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I think a big part of a couple of those examples that you just gave there is that, if you have an idea and somebody's doing something similar, then creativity is a big part here. It's like, what can you do to separate it? How can you differentiate it so that it has maybe a different value system, like Ryan or Richard's company had a whole different value system behind it and a whole energy behind it. And so, again, I think it's really easy to look at a concept that's out there and think, oh, somebody's already done that. And yet there's always room. The market's always evolving. And I also think you kind of have to go all in too. It's easy to kind of tell yourself that it's there as an excuse for not taking action, which is kind of hard to hear. But when you choose to go forward and to create your own brand and to separate it out and to show up fully and to give your gifts, it takes a lot of courage. And that's where you kind of want to be. That's the edge of what's possible for you. And so I would encourage you to, if you have that idea and other people are doing it, that's great. Maybe the last point that I would want to make here is that very rarely are you going to come up with something that nobody else has done. In fact, if you've found something that's so unique and nobody is doing it, often that's a sign that it may not even work. I'm not saying that's always the case, but you want actually to find markets that have a lot of entrants in there, because what that means is that there's active buyers. People are already buying and consuming, and you can look at what those other people are doing, and that there's actually a developed market. So yeah, so look for markets that are already there, look for companies that are already successful, and then think to yourself, if I wanted to go into that market, how would I differentiate myself? How would I make it unique? What creativity could I bring in? What new customer base aren't they serving or is coming into that market that I could align with and serve better than other people? Or how could I do it locally? A lot of people listening to this might have local businesses too.
Yeah, I love that. And I have one more thing that I would want to say, and that is when you enter into a market, you'll start to see it everywhere because social media and Google and big tech has so many data points on you. When you start looking for something, if you start looking it up or you start researching it or you order a book off Amazon or whatever it is that you do, if you leave a digital footprint on that topic, you're going to start to see it everywhere. When I first started doing brand storytelling, I thought everybody was a brand storyteller because I started seeing it in my news feed. I started, being suggested books on Amazon. And I was like, man, there's so many people. And now that I've been doing that for a while now, I know most of the main people, and there's really actually not that many. It is becoming more of a buzzword, so more people are stepping into it, but there's not that many seasoned professionals offering that. And even if there were, I would still have my unique spin on it. Back then, like Richard is saying, how do you differentiate? And I differentiated really quickly in that some people are really good at coming up with one story. There's one person who has probably the most popular book on brand story, and all he does is website storytelling. And then I have another friend who does corporate storytelling, and he's probably the top person for that. He's a genius. And where I differentiated was that I'm the best person that I know for storytelling in ads, particularly Facebook ads and emails as well. There are some people who do emails as well, but there's not anyone that I know that does print-based ads. The Harmon brothers do great storytelling and video ads, and they're funny. And I wish I was that funny because then I too could charge $500,000 for one video like they do. But humor does sell. My they are very funny. But yeah. At any rate, I found the place where I was different, and I was different because I could do ads and because I could also do all touch points of a funnel. And a lot of people weren't doing that. In fact, I still don't know that many people who do it, who tell one story across the entire funnel. I know Andre Chaperone is really, really, really good with emails, but I don't know that he does like a sales page or a sales video. So I found a place to differentiate, and I guarantee that you can also do it. When I was like drowning in ads and book suggestions and emails about all these amazing people in my niche, I got really discouraged by that. And then I thought, you know what? Like Richard said, if there's people doing this, it means people want it. And there's not as many people doing it as the internet would suggest based on targeting. And that's only going to become more so when AI gets better and better and better, right? And then, I also found my little place where I could play where not everybody was playing. And yeah, there's people who do it, but I claimed that very early on, and you can do it too, no matter what you're doing. We have a client who is a shamanic dog trainer. She can differentiate between a lot of different dog trainers. Other people, massage therapists, you're going to differentiate between what your why is and why you want to help people, or your style or your modality. There's always a way to do it. So I hope that you feel even just a tiny bit encouraged, because I know that for a lot of the people that we have helped, this is a big stuck point. And so we're hoping to sort of encourage you along the way, not to be stuck here.
Yeah. And the good news is you can test it. And as you go out, you'll actually find out that there's all kinds of clients and there's people switching, and the market really is amazing, and that continues to evolve. I know within our own conscious marketing agency, we started this agency over 10 years ago, and the market took a little bit of a while to catch up because people were turning to more traditional digital marketers. But as the market shifted more toward consumers and more transparency for what companies stand for, people were looking for a different approach to marketing. And that's why I think we've had so much exponential growth in the past 5 years too. So sometimes the market catches up to where you are too as well. This has been a great episode. Thanks for being here today and for listening to this myth. The myths are what hold us back. They're the lies that we tell ourselves to prevent us from taking action. And when we dig into some of these myths, we find that they're actually they don't exist. And once we get past them, then it releases friction. It releases the blockages, and then we can go forth and help people with our highest gifts and service to the world. So thanks for joining us today here on the Conscious Marketer podcast.
Thank you, everyone.
Any last thoughts, Kylie?
No, we just appreciate you for listening, and we hope you're getting some value out of this, and even more than value, we hope that you're taking action and that, things are starting to change for you or improve in some way.
And you can find us on consciousmarketer.com, Spotify, iTunes, and Amazon Music. And if you like the podcast, go leave a review. We don't run ads. All we ask is you share it and leave a review. Thanks so much, everyone. See you next time.